choices. That's been pointed out. You can either help us or burn us all down. Why? How? Get 78,000, buy 78,000 cars, Chrysler. Buy 78,000 in 1 month to help the company. But many of them felt coerced to buy cars that they didn't need because they knew Chrysler was considering cutting additional dealers. In other words, there's a whole question of was there any ethical consideration on your part? You knew exactly what you were doing. Yes, January is different from June 12th, but now it's all very, very clear to Mr. Lopez and to Mr. Wiley just exactly what you were planning back then. And it strikes me that you have not been forthcoming. You know, Mr. Lopez can't possibly absorb that. So now you're forcing the terminated dealerships to sell those vehicles in 26 days, which is 6 more days. Now, you say that you made a lot of progress in reassigning those vehicles. You've said that quite proudly. My question to you is, will you commit here today to buy back any cars that are left after June 9th?
I must address the automotive news comment at some point. Is this the time? May I have approval to do that?
The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Because I want to be responsive to your question, but I think it's important. The automotive news is not a KGB agent. They're the newspaper for the industry. And they reported correctly the comments that were made, but not in context. Our company had just come through the December period of time with no production and no revenue. We had less than $2 billion of cash in the bank. February 17th was the viability plan submission to the U.S. Treasury to get a bridge loan to continue to operate and negotiate our alliance. In the month of February, we needed 78,000 units of production to at least keep the company operating to the point that we could get an extension of a loan from the U.S. Treasury. And the fact of the matter is, I love the dealers. I love this company, and because of that, I made it clear to them that if we don't buy the cars now, we'll lose everything in February. If we buy the cars now, and we gave them substantial incentives to buy the cars and retail them, not to hold them, in a manner that we could generate cash, and my comment was that if 70% of the dealers had already taken the challenge, it's like a fire. A bucket brigade. 70% of the buckets have water in them. 30% don't. Don't burn us down. Let's all get in this, and let's not get bankrupt. Let's not have to do this to the dealers. And that was our desire, and that was the comment I made. And I still wish that we hadn't gone through this process, and I wish we could employ all the dealers and add more.
See, I have great trouble believing that you actually believed that with those 78,000 additional purchase requirements, that was somehow going to make a new world for Chrysler. I just don't believe that.
It did work. We did not go broke and liquidate in the month of February.
Quite as quickly.
No, we did not. We did not liquidate. And I think it's important to note the reason we're here, Senator, is a meteor hit the industry, and it's a third less than it was. Nobody can cope with that unless they're able to continue to get cash. And that's why we needed the February 17th deadline. We got that. We were able to save the company. We've got bankruptcy, DIP financing, and soon we'll have a new alliance with a new company, and we will save the company. And if we hadn't done that in February, none of us would be here at Chrysler.
But the car dealers will be, and I'm thinking of Mr. Lopez right here, in Spencer, West Virginia, 3,800 people are going to be left with the inventory and the parts, and they're not going to have any help whatsoever from you.
We have taken the challenge, and we will redistribute the inventory of cars and parts, and we will continue to work with them after June 9th. And yes, Senator, we are committed to take virtually every car we can and redistribute it. The 97% that we've already gotten commitments for is a pretty good signal that we're serious about delivering on that. Yes, sir.
And continue to work with them.
Yes, sir.
Means what to you, Mr. Lopez?
I just don't know. Right now, what I wanted to respond to is if their whole intention is to put Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep under one roof, and I am that, and I'm a profitable store. They've asked me to make some changes for our software. I have. If I have to make some changes for my building, I will be glad to do that. I'm looking out, and it's not personal. It's not just for me or my income. We are a profitable store, but our community, just like you said, and I want to thank you. I appreciate everything that you do for us, Senator. You look out for us, and that's why we're here today. And if I've seen intense, it's because my livelihood and my community cares about what happens to Spencer Auto Group. Now, thank you.
I thank you. Senator Hutchinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to come back because I hear you saying 90%, 97% are going to be transferred, and you have that out. You have the information out. And yet, I've heard from these two, from Mr. Watley and Mr. Lopez, but also from other dealers, that they have not heard this. They don't have a comfort level that they're going to be taken out. So many of these dealers, I am told, are selling at fire sale prices to the surviving dealers, and that's not right. And when we left here 10 days ago, I thought that was going to be avoided because of your commitment to work with the dealers. So there really is a disconnect that I want to connect right now. Why don't they and others know that they don't have to sell at fire sale prices? Not parts, not specialized equipment, not inventory.
I know only Mr. Lopez's situation. I don't know about Mr. Watley, but we have had communications with the dealers and offered them the opportunity to enlist our assistance in the redistribution process. The majority of the dealers signed an agreement allowing us to do that. A small number of dealers have not. They're preserving their effort through a legal effort to stop this process. We went ahead and got commitments for their inventory anyway. And as soon as they sign the agreement, they will be notified of how the status of their inventory is. And if you'd like, I would be more than happy today to discuss that directly with Mr. Lopez, because I think it's important that this transparency be known.
Well, you know, you said earlier that you appealed to the dealers, and because Mr. Watley took everything you asked him to take every time you asked, you didn't go into bankruptcy earlier this year, and you are now. But here's Mr. Watley. I mean, it's just, I hear what you're saying and I hear what they're saying, and it's not the same thing. So do you want Mr. Watley?
I just don't understand the 97%. I don't doubt Mr. Press at all. I think they may have identified 97% of the vehicles, but I talk to 10 to 15 dealers a day from East Texas to West Texas. No one has heard a thing from the business center. No one has seen a report. No one's been inquired about their inventory. No one's even asked what inventory they have. I just don't know where this 97% is coming from.
Can you today tell every Chrysler dealer that got the 789 that they do not have to sell at fire sale prices, that they will have a communication from you that you will arrange, that you have arranged for 90% or whatever the percentage is for the transfer, so they know? Can they count on that right now?
Absolutely, yes. And as soon as the dealers who haven't signed a release allowing us to take that responsibility, we'll provide that to them directly as well.
But see, everything about this is a request to other dealers to buy. There's no actual firm. They're requesting other dealers buy the inventory, and they're going to try to assist in the sale, but there is no actual plan. And the dealers, every dealer's biggest fear is on June 9th, we lose all options on these cars. We can no longer sell them. We can no longer dealer trade them. They have no incentives, no rebates, no warranties. They're just planter boxes on June the 9th. Our biggest fear is that on June the 9th, Chrysler will attempt to relocate these cars. Then we get a call on about June the 12th, June the 13th, say, fellas, we did our darndest and we just couldn't get her done. Good luck. What are we supposed to do at that point?
Or they sold them for $12,000 in their $25,000 cars, and we have to pay off our floor plan.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes, because on the report, it also